What's up guys, Shawn here. Today we're going to be testing out Uncharted Supply Co's 72-hour survival backpack. Just like anything in your inventory, you should always take it out and try it out personally to make sure that it works with your situation. So if you want to take a look at this guy, this would be something in any sort of situation. Say you're camping, say you're on a hunting trip, you would always want to bring a very good survival kit for any emergency situation. So right off the bat, this thing is obviously very well made with some very good nylon material. I already threw a couple bottles of water in here, but you can see I'm not going to open it up now. We'll save that for later. But just right off the bat, you can see this thing's got ventilation. It's got waistband straps that'll alleviate a lot of the weight off of your back. As far as weight, this thing's definitely got a little weight to it, but nothing more than you would typically have in a hunting backpack or rucksack if you were going on an op. So if you were able to divide up the load amongst everybody in your group, I would definitely have one person carrying this. This wouldn't be something you would be carrying in addition to your typical loadout. But we're gonna go ahead and strap it on and we're gonna get out there on the trail and yeah, we'll let you know how it goes. So okay guys, one of the first things I'm noticing about this pack is how nice and how well it's conforming to my back. Like a lot of packs, they just don't feel right, or they're pushing you in certain spots, pressure points on your back that over a long hike is really gonna start to irritate you. Right now, everything's nice and fine, but get 10 miles, this thing is gonna be horrible to be wearing. But right now, this thing is so comfortable. It's breathing well. Everything is, all the weight that's within it is evenly dispersed throughout. So my first impression of this pack is I really like it. Even though it is bulky, it's got a lot of items in it, it rucks very well. So, all right, so we've walked about 3 miles and we're gonna get to the spot where we're gonna simulate is gonna be our shelter. So we found a spot that's a little secluded. There's running water here, which I'm assuming there's gonna be a water purification system, so we're gonna test that out. So let's unbox this thing and see what's in it. One thing I like about this instantly is if I'm in a shelter situation and I know I'm gonna be holed up for a few days, this thing is able to be hung up. Right off the bat, I love this design. So I can open this up, my shelter, and I have an entire 72-hour first aid kit available to me and anybody that's with me. So right off the bat, if I'm in a survival situation, okay, I found running water, that's like crucial to your survival. They say shelter is the #1 thing you should find, but depending on where you are, water might be the very most important thing that you need to find immediately, right? So, and it also depends on what time of day it is, right? If it's close to nighttime or getting close to the evening time, then yeah, I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna try to get a shelter, get off the ground as quickly as possible. But if it's early in the day and I find myself lost, I'm gonna find water. I have plenty of hours to build a shelter. I'm gonna get water. So the first thing, I'm gonna come in here. This thing's labeled really nicely already. I can see water. So everything I need to know, water, is gonna be in here, and it happens to be right next to a very big, very large Nalgene. So opening this up, we have Sawyer cleaning plunger. So I'm guessing this is the water purification system that we're gonna try out. Always gotta test everything out. It's the only way you're gonna find out. I'd rather test it when I'm close to a hospital than test it out in the field where there's nobody that's gonna come to save me and show me that this thing works. So right here we have a Sawyer mini water filter. I've never used this particular one, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It comes with directions, helpful tips and tricks. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Obviously, if the first thing I'm looking for is water, I have my water filtration system. I have running water down here. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build a shelter. So I'm gonna look and see what's in this kit to help me in that endeavor to build a shelter. So I'm hoping there's gonna be some sort of shovels or axes or something like that in here. All right, so we have a shovel. This thing is pretty compact, pretty easy to put together. Just got this one spinning dial here, which flips this down, and then the whole thing is meant to go in this bag right here. So you open it up, bring it down, shovel out, nice and snug, and you got yourself a shovel. So if I need to dig under, if I need to build a fire pit, I mean, there's so many applications for a shovel in a survival situation. You literally can't go wrong with that. Right here you have paracord, and anybody that's ever been in the military or any sort of survival situation will tell you that paracord is crucial to everything you do. You can use these for fishing, you can use it for building shelters, you can use it for so many different things. So you'll see a lot of people, they have paracord bracelets, right? So this is awesome, and having 550 pound test utility cord, you got 100 feet of this stuff. This is more than enough to last you for 72 hours. All right, so I almost missed it. It was down towards the back of this pocket, but they also packed the knife. But it's nice that they put this piece on the end here to break glass, because imagine you're out in the middle of nowhere in your vehicle, your car rolls, and the only way you can get out is if you break that glass. So that would be something, if you can get to your pack that's in your back seat, you can break glass. And instantly you already have a really nice, powerful knife. There's numerous different things you can use this for. Cleaning fish, meat, whatever it is you need, I would keep this on me. And it already comes in a nice setup here, so you can attach it to your belt. In this knife sheath right here, they had this little pouch on the back, and I just discovered something very cool. We have a fire starter. So in a situation where obviously you're gonna need to boil water to purify it, or you're gonna need to cook meat, or you need to send up distress smoke signals, or you just need to stay warm, you can't do any of that unless you can build a fire. So moving on. So now we have water, we have shelter, and then speaking of shelter, they have this huge pouch here, come around this side, designed for warmth, which is very nice depending on where you get stuck. You have really thick, really nice rubber gloves here with great grip. So, I mean, those would be huge. You got hand warmers, you got beanies. If you got stuck somewhere and you were freezing, you would be really glad you had this. And a survival tent, so that's even better. Yeah, this is nice. This material is, it's like a space blanket, but in the shape of a tent, so this is gonna keep you warm and whoever's with you. So. The one thing I like about this pack already, just from going through these first few pouches, is all these pouches are really big. And they're really easy to get everything back in. So like we were talking about before, in a situation where you have to get up and move really fast, it's nice to be able to just open a pouch, put everything back in there, and close it up, and then you just close it up and you're gone, right? A lot of times, you know, there's so many different scenarios we can get stuck in, but one thing that you always want to be as streamlined as you can be, and be able to get up and leave at a moment's notice. So moving on, right here, obviously, so important after you get your shelter and your water is food. And right here they have rations, 2,400 calorie bars times 2. So this is called Datrex DX 2400F emergency rations. Energy value 2,400 calories each. I've never eaten this stuff, but it's got to taste better than an MRE. Do not drink water during first 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. But you have food, you have rations, that ought to get you enough to last you 72 hours. All right, so moving on. We have water, we have shelter, we have tools, and we have food. So now we're getting up into the more, the next important item, the most important item, obviously, is first aid. So if you're in a survival situation, likely, you're probably pretty banged up already. So let's check out their first aid kit. Antibacterial wipes, sunblock, another emergency blanket, space blanket variety, 2 of those. We have the First Aid Pro, built for 2 people. And let's open it up. We got paper clips. I don't know what those are. Splinter for splinters. We got tweezers, bandage. You gotta wrap somebody up or they have a twisted ankle. Right here. We got tape. Good. CPR kit. Okay, so this would be a face shield. So if you have to give somebody CPR and you have to give them mouth to mouth, right? This is so you're not putting your mouth on their mouth. Not that big of a deal if somebody's in a really bad spot, but if somebody's really worried about germs, that will protect you from germs. You have a first aid booklet here. Pretty much tells you how to do everything. Resuscitation, bites and stings, bleeding, burns, head injuries, eye injuries, choking, wound care. All right, we have bandages. Looks more like gauze. Yeah, this would be like bandaging gauze. Another emergency blanket. That's a lot of blankets. Some more gauze here. Wound closure strip. So this is nice if you don't have access to getting stitches, right? This is the next best thing. This will help hold your skin together. And then we have some basic band-aids. Yeah, the only thing I would really like to see in this bag is a couple tourniquets. Tourniquets are probably the #1 thing you can have in your first aid kit that'll save your life. And I don't see any tourniquets in here, so that's my expert opinion. All right, we're moving on to the last 2 pouches. We have air and vision. So I guess if you're in a whiteout situation, this is super important. We have air filtration masks. So you can imagine different dust storm scenarios where you might not want to be breathing and everything. And chem lights. Chem lights are great, but they run out quickly, so obviously you would want to wait to use them in the most opportune time where you think you might be rescued. All right, the last pouch here is power. So this is kind of great. This is actually really great. But looks like you have a power box. Some instructions here. But basically you would pull that tab and now you have yourself a way to charge items. You got USB port. What's that old iPhone port? I remember. Yeah. Yeah. So you have these 2 ports here. I would recommend they add a USB-C port to this. Most items nowadays are using USB-C. But this thing's pretty cool. It actually has a winder. So if you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, you wind this up. And look, if you zoom in, this thing's starting to work. You can see so this is kind of cool. This is a radio. Radio, flashlight, and a phone charger. So flashlight, you have a radio you can pick up on different channels here. You can tune up or down here, volume up or down. Last item we have here is matches, a nice big hefty box that's waterproof, and a flashlight. And the last thing, very last thing, is one of the most important things, multi-tool, some extra batteries. So last thing I'm going to do before we get out of here is I'm going to go test out this water filtration system on myself and make sure it works. All right, that's about as easy as it gets right there. You literally fill up the bag, screw this filtration system on, you pop this little tab off, and you drink from the water. And it tastes clean. That's pretty easy. All right, so we've tried everything out on this thing. Now we're gonna pack everything up nice and neat, get out of here. Obviously, having these nice big pouches makes everything easier. Try to hang on to everything whenever you have these, all the directions, as much as you can. You don't wanna, sometimes the one thing that you forget or lose could be the one thing that you needed to save your life. So always try to keep everything together. The way it came should be the same way it goes back. And there it is. Roll this down, try to get the air out. Put it down here. Let's go. Okay guys, we just got back 6-mile ruck with the Uncharted Supply 72, and all in all, awesome. My back doesn't hurt. This thing held up very well. It met every test requirement that I had for it. So my hat's off to Uncharted Supply. You got a great backpack here, and I would be happy to use this, and I would be happy to give this to any of my friends in any sort of survival situation. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.